I'm Joe. I already said that like 6 times today, but hi. So I'm going to give you about 4 seconds of silent time from me, yay. And I'm going to urge you to quietly in your own mind, no one to judge you for it, just please say the sentence to yourself, my self-worth is important. And I'm going to be standing here and trying my best to calm down my nerves and pretend I'm doing it okay. So, okay, 4 seconds, go. Right, cool, so I really hope you said that sentence in your head because, man, you need to say that a lot. It's great to be here. I am so humbled by, my voice is trembling, great. I am so humbled by the idea that someone thought I would be relevant to this event. It was a dream of mine, I was not aware I had, and then it was sprung up upon me, and here I am, reading into this microphone. And I want to tell you about how you can stay human in a negative word. Right, okay. So, do I consider myself an expert in my field? Debating taught me to define keywords. So, by expert, I mean this circle here, this bit around me. This is what I'm an expert in. I'm an expert in waking up every morning and accepting my self-worth and working from there. It's so difficult to find a point to focus on when the world around you is increasingly despondent. I want to tell you about the turning point because this is the theme of this event. The turning point I want to tell you about is that from now on you will be aware of your self-worth. I'm highlighting this because I really, really needed for someone to tell me this when I was a teenager, about your age, and it would have made a lot of difference in somebody who was smiling and friendly and everything came up to me and told me that. The turning points I'm referring to can furthermore be seen as crossroads, and because they're seen as crossroads, they can inform your life and the way your life goes. So if you look at crossroads as if they were decisions, you can understand how decisions inform your life. Right, okay. You see, I come from fiction and from poetry, and we abound in metaphors and in convoluted ways of telling it how it really is. So what I'm really trying to tell you, I relentlessly searched for what I wanted to convey to you in these up to 18 minutes, out of which I probably wasted about 3. And in my frantic Google searches, I came across a quote by Dr. Nick Morgan. It's a blog article, fittingly enough, how to write a killer TED speech. The quote is, "There's something you know in a way that nobody else does." And this is how I want to introduce this idea to you. You know you in a way that nobody else does. You have been by your side through the good and the bad and the happy and the sad, and you have succeeded, and you can absolutely help yourself stay human in an increasingly despondent world. Here's the situation. You're a person, which is innovative, I know, nobody thought about this before. You're a person, and you're at a crossroads, which is your turning point, since we're talking about this. And you don't know what's happening. You're a person, maybe you're an artist, perhaps a heart or both, and you find yourself looking behind you where there is an endless battlefield that you've somehow managed to get through, and you don't know how, you're tired, every day you're tired. In front of you there's this endless plane of possibilities, and you really, really want to get from intermediary point B, where you're at now, to point F, somewhere in the future, the horizon. And the way to do that, you don't know it. You don't know how to get there, you don't know anything. And in your mind, there is an ongoing conflict. And I know this because I have been through this process, and it was somewhat daunting. And I found myself wondering whether I could do it, whether I could be what I want to be. So okay, story time. I decided really early on in life that I wanted to be a writer, and I went through the usual choices of secretary and tractor driver and astronaut, and secret agent was the other one. And finally I settled on writer, and I went through the usual steps. If the usual steps mean running up a 45-degree slope while it hails and you're wearing high heels and the world is against you. And finally I decided, you know, I want to do this. So I packed my life up and I moved across the continent, and I wanted to find out if I could actually be a writer, if I could actually do this. I think I'm better at writing than speaking. I was talking to you about my process before I got interrupted by the, you know how we were talking about the other person inside of you about 2 seconds ago? I've got someone like that who keeps interrupting me. So my own process was daunting, I told you that, and what I did to get out of it is I put myself out there. I tried to find outlets for the negativity in my mind. The problem with negativity in your mind is that it's so turned inwards that you can't control where it goes and how it goes. So I tried to find outlets, and the way I did that is I started writing. I started writing an opinion column. I was very opinionated. And I engaged in public speaking, a lot better than this, I promise. And I started writing poetry and reading poetry and then shouting my poetry from bar stages in my uni student club, which is incidentally why I'm so bad with microphones, sorry. And eventually I found this outlet to the negativity in my mind. It's so important that you decide to do that because it informs who you are as a person. It makes you understand that you, as a person, can build so much. You can rebuild yourself as a human in this increasingly despondent world by helping rebuild others. If you inform positive thoughts about others, you can then nurture them, take them away, and reinvest them into the society, your life, and life of those around you. The problem that I find these days a lot is because I'm so into information, and sometimes information finds me even when I don't want it to find me. And what I find is that most days this onslaught of information is so absolutely horrendously negative that you don't know how to defend yourself from it. And in light of this, it's so unbelievably important that you stay human. And how do you do that? You go to battle. I don't mean like a shouting battle or, weapons battle. I mean, you literally, you take a stance, and when this entire tidal wave of negativity comes towards you, you start writing your own story. This is what I know how to do. I write story. This entire thing is a narrative that's kind of escaped me a bit, and this is exactly what I know how to do. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. You need to write your story. You need to look at everything that is around you, everything that is negative, everything that is coming towards you, and you just need to start writing your own story. You can change the narrative of your own life. You can take this, you can stray from traditional narratives. You can do something creative, get a degree in creative writing, I don't know, I heard it's a good thing to do. And you can absolutely do anything you want if you stay human. And if you understand that by rebuilding others, by helping others, by understanding what creates their humanity, taking that, nurturing it, and reabsorbing it into yourself, you will absolutely decide and manage to stay human. I wanted to tell you guys to travel miles across the world and do this and do that, and the thing is I understand how patronising that can sound. And in the opinion column that I had, I wrote this bit about how I really, really hoped that people would stop telling me to start running for fun. Mostly because, I think it would work eventually, and it would eventually make me happy. But not immediately, and, after I stopped wheezing, it would probably be a lot better. And I realised that people start telling you things that they think are best for you. Do this, do that. And I'm here telling you, travel miles and do this, and wake up if you're asleep while I'm talking, and do this and do that, things like that. But I don't want to be patronising. If you were to come up to me and to tell me, but Jo, I really like my comfort zone. And I would say, mate, I like it too. I love my comfort zone. This is not my comfort zone right now. I absolutely love my comfort zone. So if that works best for you, stay in your comfort zone. Follow the path that you want to follow. But understand that the fear of being too assertive and the fear of not being enough is exactly the same fear. You are afraid of being yourself in a world that does not approve of what you define to be yourself. It's so unbelievably refreshing when you can pick your narrative. And I keep coming back to the narrative because, again, this is what I know how to do. If you manage to stray from the original narrative that the world, the universe, society, your parents, whoever gave you, and you manage to rewrite that, if you dig inside of you and find the creative aspect that makes you who you are, that will change your entire perspective on pretty much everything. If you take anything away from this, other than how not to do a TED speak, you need to take away that you should accept your accomplishments. And while you're accepting your accomplishments, you should redefine them as being different than traditional societal norms of accomplishments. They are something that you decide is an accomplishment. You decide what makes you successful. And you need to understand that you should absolutely 100% always be kind to you and good to others and kind to when you decide to be human. And understand that it is absolutely imperatively necessary that you always accept yourself for who you are and you get to decide what you do from here on. Thanks.